Sooner Nation, welcome into another episode of Sooner Spotlight, your all-access pass for all things Oklahoma Sooners athletics. I want to thank everybody for joining in. Today we have a very special one, and we will get to that in just a second. If you saw the title or the thumbnail, obviously you already know what you came here for, but I have to first remind you to please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. 2 free ways to support the show and help us keep on growing. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, go over and just hit that subscribe button and hit that 5-star review as well. Leave us a review. It helps this show grow more than you know, and it's a couple of quick ways for you to help us keep on growing. So please do that for us. You can follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Real Josh Mahler, to keep up with all the updates on the show and so much more. And follow the show at Sooner Spotlight on Instagram. It's a new page over there. We want to get that channel going a little bit as well. So go follow us on social media. And Sooner Spotlight is an OU Insider content lineup production. So, obviously, if you would, go over to ouinsider.com. If you're not a member today, go get signed up today at ouinsider.com. It is the greatest Oklahoma fan community out there, the Oklahoma sports fan community. It's amazing. There's so much more than meets the eye. You get, all access pass for $9.95 a month, as low as $9.95 a month. You can get access there and just try it out for a month, see if you like it. Annual subscription is very cheap as well. Just sign up for that, and it's so cheap. If you go and get a coffee at the coffee shop, then you can afford to sign up for OU Insider. You get so much more than just reading articles. You get inside information, inside scoop. You get it quicker. You also just get more. You get more information about your team that you will not get anywhere else. And you can always stay up to date. You can even ask questions and become a part of the conversation. That's the reason why I partnered with them, because I don't want this show to be something where we talk at you. I want to talk with you guys. You can see much more of what I cover on baseball over there. Right now, doing a lot of coverage for OU Insider, so you can see more. There's just so much more, and I can explain it to you all day, but you won't understand how much you get unless you go get signed up today. Go check it out at ouinsider.com today. We had Trey Gambill on the show, number 20, the outfielder, to talk a little bit about his journey in baseball from starting off as a kid and how he got into baseball, his hobbies, what he loves about Norman, why he came to Norman, a kid from Utah, and, just his journey and what he loves about the game and what he sees, what he feels, getting to know the player outside of just what you see on TV. I think that's really important, and I'm really excited to be able to do this more often with more players, but Trey Gambill being the first, and I hope you guys enjoy this interview with Trey Gambill. Sooner Nation, welcome into a very special edition of Sooner Spotlight, where we have a very special guest on with us. We've got our first player interview from the Oklahoma baseball team. We've got the outfielder, number 20, Trey Gambill, with us. Trey, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me on. I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting. One thing that I've realized, so I don't know if you know much of what I do at all, but since joining OU Insider, they asked me to cover baseball for you guys. And since doing that, I've realized there's kind of a lack in coverage for specifically OU baseball. I think even college baseball, just in general, there's not a whole lot of in-depth get to know you guys. I think we get to know, the football, obviously one of the biggest ones at Oklahoma, even basketball. You get to know a little bit behind the scenes. I got to give a shout out to the Oklahoma baseball experience. I think you've been on there too, right?
Yes. Yeah, they do a great job.
Yes,
covering.
Yeah. Johnny and the guys over there, they do a pretty good job. Johnny and Brandon, they do a really good job of doing that for you guys. But just another avenue to kind of let fans know who you are, so they can kind of get a little bit closer to the team. I think that helps, the baseball program grow, and obviously Oklahoma needs that. I think that'd be a huge step forward for it too. But obviously, thank you so much for joining. So first, start off. Where are you from? I know not all the fans know. Where's Trey Gambill from?
I'm from Alpine, Utah. Yeah.
Where's that at in relation? Because people from Oklahoma don't know Utah.
Right. So Utah, I guess, is in the Midwest. If you know Salt Lake City, it's about 30 minutes south of Salt Lake, the capital. So not a well-known state. Not a lot of people have been there. Very beautiful. Lots of mountains, though, and great people. So.
Yeah. What's the biggest difference that you've had to make for the change of coming from Utah all the way down to Norman?
Honestly, it's just being away from home.
Yeah.
Norman is a very homey place for me, at least. The people have been very kind, and like my teammates make it really fun to be around. So just being away from family, I think, is the hardest thing. And just preparing for the SEC in baseball is
Yeah. 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 Big transition too, because for you it wasn't even from the Big 12 over to the SEC, right? So I
yeah.
mean that was yeah. I mean, so you had just as much of, or if not even more of a transition than some of your teammates who kind of made that jump. Which I mean, for those for those who don't know, you started at Salt Lake Community College and then transferred to Norman. We'll touch on that in just a second. But first, getting into baseball at a young age, I assume. When did you start playing baseball?
Ooh, as soon as I can remember.
Yeah.
My family, there's four boys. I'm the third of the four. And ever since we were able to run, jump, we were doing sports. Baseball,
Yeah.
basketball, football, soccer. Like all four of us were doing it all. And so we'd have little games in the backyard where we'd play wiffle ball or backyard basketball. Just finding ways to get our energy out. I think our parents said sports is a good way to do that. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. I grew up with one brother, two sisters. My brother and I, we were kind of the same way, going for all sports, and it was always the more they could keep us, even if it meant a little bit of driving us back and forth from home to sports, at least it was, hey, they're out of my hair, they're somebody else's problem for the time being. So I could probably sympathize with that just a little bit. So you started at baseball. What were there any other alternate positions that you've played in the past? I know right now you're outfielder, more or less. Right now for Oklahoma, you've been a key, offensive performer. But what other positions have you played?
growing up, I used to play catcher all the time. I guess I just got stuck with the catcher role, and luckily in high school I broke out of it. I played a little bit of shortstop and a lot of outfield, and I've kind of just stuck in that position ever since. But growing up, I was a catcher.
Yeah, you like outfield pretty well. Does that fit you more?
I love the outfield, man. I mean, running down baseballs there's no better thing to do in the sport. And then also you just get to meet good friends out there, the other positional guys, in like defensive work and stuff. So it's a great spot.
Yeah. Is there any position you wish you would have tried outside of outfielder or?
Not catcher.
Not catcher.
I'm glad I'm not a catcher. Although I'm willing to play any position, it's assuming I have the skills. Outfield's for me though. I love being able to run down stuff, dive after baseballs, and do all that stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely a different skill set for those of you for those who haven't played baseball. Understanding, even if I think a lot of people could probably maybe put themselves in the shoes, even if you've done like slow pitch softball, playing infield, outfield. It seems like the same because either or, it's fast pace. If there's a fly ball coming out the outfield, fast pace, you got to hurry up and track it down. Wind changes that around a lot. Even an athletic guy like we've seen Jason walk this past weekend, just trying to track the ball all around, And so it's both of them are fast paced. Both of them take a lot of athleticism, just a different skill set, right?
100%.
But kind of going back, I guess before we get into your collegiate career, do you have any hobbies? Anything that kind of keeps you occupied?
Me and my roommates, we've been doing a lot of games, whether it be card games or I'm not sure if you're familiar with like Jackbox.
No, I don't think so. It sounds familiar, but no.
It's this type of game where everybody gets on their phone and then there's a Jackbox connected to the TV and it has different mini games. Could be trivia, could be get to know you. Anyways, we play lots of different games. I'd say overall hobby is just spending time with the boys. Like whether we're going to a movie, out to eat, whatever it be. Like just hanging out with the guys is probably my favorite hobby.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's even cooler too, knowing the position that you're at, the relationships that you've been able to gain. Probably more relationships now than ever. I'd probably say from I feel like as you grow older, as you get closer from collegiate and moving on, you just keep on meeting more and more people, right? And so kind of makes that hobby grow a little bit more, maybe spending more time with more people. So yeah, that's really awesome to hear. All right, now getting into your collegiate career. So like I said, you started off at Salt Lake Community College, and started off there. I assume that's probably more or less probably just to stay close to home is why you decided to play there.
Yeah, I also served an LDS mission out of high school. So
Okay.
I went for 2 years just preaching the word of God to people and just trying to help people out. I came back, I was 21 years old, freshman, right? So I'm a little bit older. And I just felt like going the junior college route would help me in my development to get back into the game, but also develop my skills, which I think it did. I think the mission plus being close to family was the reason I chose Salt Lake Community.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome too. I didn't know that part of your story, so that's pretty awesome to hear.
Yep.
That's really cool. I mean, obviously, like you said too, trying to get back into your game. So I had to look this up. In your sophomore season there, you played in 53 games, recorded 63 runs, 48 RBIs, 9 home runs with a 375 batting average, 555 on base percentage. And then also you were named to the NJCAA All-American third team, which is shocking with that amazing stat line that it was just the third team. But that's an incredible sophomore season, especially when you said you were trying to get yourself back into the game. I mean, that sounds like you propelled pretty well over there.
Yeah, I did all right. People don't realize this. There's some ballers in JUCO, man. Like,
oh yeah,
there's some good arms, good hitters. Like, there's talent everywhere, and as long as you put in the work, people show it. So, being third team was a super big honor for me, and I was very proud that they chose me, which was really cool.
Yeah, well, not. Yeah, I mean, if you're chosen fifth team, you got to be happy with that, man. I mean, that's. I mean, if you take in how many players are all competing for those awards, those recognitions, and like you said, even in JUCO, there's a lot of players, a ton of players, and they're only selecting a select few. So I mean, that's a huge honor. So congratulations, man. I mean, that's some crazy good stats, especially like what you just said, trying to get back into it and trying to get yourself back into the game of baseball. That's pretty crazy. But so then, of course, from there, you ended up coming to Norman. What was the choice to come to Norman? What was that like? What was the deciding factor to come down to Oklahoma to play for the Sooners?
Growing up in Utah, I never figured that I would be in Norman, not because it's not a good school and it's not the best competition, simply because I'm from a totally different area. I have no connections to Oklahoma. But one day I got a call from Todd Butler, the recruiting coordinator here, and he'd been recruiting me for a week or two now, something along the lines, and he just kind of said, Trey, like, you're going to regret the rest of your life if you choose not to come to Oklahoma, simply because the best competition is in the SEC. And I said, you know what, you're right. And that's kind of like the deciding factor for me was, I think I've worked hard enough and prepared myself to be in a position like this, and might as well go out there and just put it all on the line, I think that was probably the deciding factor for me, was knowing that you're going to be playing in the best baseball conference there is. So
yeah, well, and more than ever too. Let's see, I think I was looking at the rankings today: 6 in the top 10, 4 in the top 5, and a lot of those are still on Oklahoma's schedule.
Right.
And on top of that, you look at the overall, just the conference competing against each other in the conference. I think, I don't know how much you pay attention to social media or how much the fans freak out on social media. If I were you, I would recommend not to, because in the role that I'm in, I recognize that a lot, and people commenting on articles that I'm writing or whatever the case may be, they comment and they kind of look at this from a very narrow point of view that, oh no, we got swept by LSU, but that was only a couple of plays and you won 2 games out of there. Again, and Skip even gave the comment after the game to us. I'm not ever going to think that I don't want Kyle Branch to get the ball line drive to him at second base. It's a wet field and you slip and you miss the ball. That kind of stuff happens. That's the deciding factor in that game. That's how close you guys were to taking down one of the best teams in the country, not just the conference. Or even game 1, was it was it Easton Carmichael? No, it wasn't. Maybe Sam Christensen that had the ball go all the way out to the outfield, left field, and just maybe 10 feet away from a home run to tie the game.
Right.
I mean, that's what fans don't look at, is how close you guys are in those big time games in a conference that is completely stacked. Yeah, Oklahoma's kind of towards the bottom right now of that conference, but you guys go out and win this series this upcoming weekend, which we'll talk about here in a second. You're up there in the middle of the pack of the top dogs, not just the middle of the SEC, but the middle of the top dogs, which is huge. And right. Fans don't always recognize that, but I'm sure Skip kind of reminds you guys that, hey, you're not out of this thing. You're not ever too far gone. I know one comment that he made to us at the media after one of the games was, we're not a different team than yesterday, a different team from last week. So you guys are absolutely, it definitely was, I would say, personally for you, and I think for the team recruiting you, a great decision for both of you guys too. And I know as a fan and also a guy that covers you guys, I'm really glad that you chose Oklahoma.
Thank you.
Yeah. Going on to this season, what your stats are. Like I said, you had phenomenal stats for junior college, especially that sophomore season, where I think that was obviously the breakout, the one that obviously had you recognizing, hey, I've got something to go on here. But then this year, you come to Oklahoma, and like I said, fans know you more as the guy at bat, the guy that's stepping up to the plate, and you have been living up to the hype. I know you had that small injury that kept you out for a little while, but glad to see you back in and see that you're healthy. And now you're still leading. I think the entire season you've been leading the team in batting average. You're leading right now in offensive performance and leading an on-base percentage. What goes through your mind when you're stepping up to the plate? Because just about everyone on Oklahoma, obviously anyone in the SEC, seems confident, but you've got a different type of confidence that fans see when you're either at the plate or if you're running bases. What's going through your mind as you're stepping up to the plate to really put those kinds of stats up?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, and the biggest thing that our coaches have taught us, is every time you step up there, there's a job to do, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it be even like putting a bunt down, right? Moving a guy over. Stay within your approach, trust the approach, and trust the preparation you put in. And all those other things will come along. And most importantly is, especially when you're going through a little bit of a struggle, maybe even a little personal slump, you could say, is just putting the team first, right? A big thing that we do is O before you, Oklahoma before yourself, right?
Yeah.
For me, if I can get on for Easton Carmichael, that's the best thing we can do for our team, right? If I can get on before Jackson Willits, that would be amazing for our team. And that's kind of just the role I've taken and tried to do is let's set the table for these guys. Let's trust our teammates. Let's get on base when we can, take those walks, not try to do too much. And just play your game. I think that's the biggest thing.
Well, and I don't know if you recall this moment, and I'm sure it's happened other times that I haven't captured, and I wish I would have had a video to show. So there was one moment, I believe it was the LSU game, and I can't remember if it was game 2 or 3. I know it was one of the close games where you guys were still in it. You guys were fighting hard, and there was a moment where you're on second base. I think you had just stolen second base. And you got up, and as the pitcher's going to throw another pitch, he looks back towards you, and you sit there and juke out the pitcher back and forth, playing with them, making faces at him. I'm not sure if you were chirping at him. Hopefully you were a little bit. What's going through your mind when on the base running too? Because that's another part that you've been outstanding on this year. You've had a ton of success. Let's see, you've been scoring 30 runs so far this season. That's phenomenal, especially for time off, and you're still up in the top 2, top 3 on the roster right now. What's going through your mind running the bases? I know probably quite a bit of the same, but anything different? Maybe trying to get into the pitcher's head and things like that.
I think it's less about. I just think the pitchers at this level are too locked in to try to mess around with them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I really just trust the preparation that our coaches put into the game, and I just trust the signs that I've been given, and props to them for coming up with such a great game plan depending on the pitcher and all the different factors that go into it. I would say the base running is important as our team, but it's the offense that brings it together, right? We will be aggressive on the bases, we'll do those things, but it's all just staying within the approach of Oklahoma. And I think that's what allows us to steal bases, to take extra bags, is knowing that we have hitters that they're going to have to face, and so they focus on the hitters letting us run, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there a certain stat that you look at, maybe that you like to pay attention to, that is maybe your favorite stat line, one that feels the best to add to? Is there one stat that you kind of focus on the most?
I think I don't get too caught up in stats, if I'm being completely honest.
No, I wouldn't expect you guys to too much, but
yeah, I think if there was a stat, it would be quality at bats. We have our own metrics for those, but putting up team at bats, making sure that we always have the team first. Now, don't get me wrong, homers are great, and those are going to happen as you stay within the approach and let your athleticism play. But the quality at bats that we go by is the most important, I think, for our team.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear too. Knowing that you guys are just focusing not necessarily on quantity, but focus on that quality. I think maybe either OPS or even on base percentage, I think would probably be pretty similar to that. I would think too, just on the stats that the fans see. But yeah, that's something that, again, you've been doing a great job of this year too. Let's go back to this past weekend, a huge weekend for you guys. And Vanderbilt, for those who don't know baseball at all, Vanderbilt knows two things, and that's mathematics and college baseball. That is what they're known for. This past season, they had a little bit of a fluke year. They were good with Diego Pavia over there in college football. But they know baseball. That's a very good baseball squad. It was one that me, as a guy covering you guys, I was nervous that, man, like, this is a gauntlet after going through a tough slump on offense. How are you guys going to respond to Vanderbilt? You guys responded outstanding. You guys had a really good offensive weekend, scored 23 runs between game 1 and 2. What kind of changed on offense for you guys to be able to put up the big numbers, especially the big shutout in game 2?
Baseball is the weirdest sport ever because honestly what we did was we got more committed to our game plan, more committed to our approaches, whether it be, okay, I'm going to see this fastball a little bit deeper, or, I'm going to get out in front of this changeup, whatever it be. We committed to the approaches, and, that's the biggest thing is a lot of times when you go through lulls or you lose a few games in a row, it's like, okay, what do we need to change? It's like, actually, no, let's hone in on what we need to do that we've already been doing, if that makes sense. Let's do the basics and just keep doing those. And we trust our process. Like, when it comes down to it, we believe our process is up there with the best in the country. We believe that if we follow our process, we're the best in the country. That's how we approach it. And so we take the game out of other people's hands and we start putting it in our own. So what I think we did offensively was just, let's simplify the game. Let's stick to our approaches, and let's just hit the ball hard, right? Put up the bats.
And it obviously worked, right? So I mean, and you're right. It is one of the weirdest sports. I think there's kind of that factor in a lot of sports, but baseball definitely can swing one way or the other. Pun not intended. Just because of how crazy how crazy the game is. The fact that you're hitting a round ball with a round bat, and it's very similar to golf in the sense that you get maybe just an eighth of an inch off one way or the other on the ball or on your swing, and it could change the trajectory of where you're hitting, and the timing just by a split second can change everything. And like you said too, just kind of sticking to that game. Going forward, I know you guys have Oklahoma State tomorrow. I guess that's probably the game that you guys are focused on first, obviously, as you should be. Is there anything exciting about going into this would be your first Bedlam, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, is there anything exciting about going into your first Bedlam series, or I guess Bedlam game?
Yeah, definitely. You hear about, the Oklahoma State rivalry, and you just know that there's going to be high emotions. There's going to be guys coming out ready to play, and for good reason. We got two great teams going to face off. Obviously, Oklahoma State has a great reputation. So we're just going to go out there. We're just going to try, again, to stick to what we've done. Like stick to our approaches. And it's so easy to try to do more, right? On a big stage, you try to hit the ball farther, harder, whatever it be. For pitchers, you try to throw it hard. You try to make that curveball just a little bit more nasty. But if you can just stick to what you've done in your preparation, then that will open up the opportunity for those big moments, for the big double, for the big strikeout, right? So
yeah.
I'm just excited because those type of venues and those type of fan emotional levels being high, it's just a fun atmosphere. So that's what I'm excited for, and Oklahoma State's got a great team, so we're going to go up there and try to stick to our plan.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun too to go in there because of it being so close to home. You're going to have quite a bit of Crimson there in the crowd. I think Oklahoma in baseball doesn't always travel as well, especially with as far as you guys are traveling. Obviously, now in the SEC, which I think Oklahoma has to travel further than most SEC teams. But being right there, there's no excuse. Fans have to show up for that one, and they better show up for that one because it's only just a little ways up the road too. Looking forward to this weekend, and I don't want to get you to the point too. You can cut me off, but looking forward to this weekend. You guys go up to Columbia, Missouri. Is there anything in specific that you're looking forward to in that series against Missouri? Who, they're not the best team by any means, but it's still a conference that any team can sneak up. Is there anything that you guys are preparing specifically for there against Missouri?
You mentioned, just in this conference, you got to be ready every night, right? Mm-hmm. There's talent everywhere, and that's not only in the SEC. That's in midweeks that we play. I mean, we've seen it this year where these midweeks got just studs, man. Like every conference and every team is going to have somebody ready to come and beat you. And if you're not ready, you're going to get the brakes beat off of it, right? So, just looking up to this series, we're going to just take it a game at a time. A pitch at a time, an inning at a time. Just as we continue to win pitches and innings, we know that our process is going to show. So the same thing goes for Missouri. Great team, great players. We're just ready to go out there and compete, right? So That's what I would say. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's all the fans can really ask of you guys as players or even as coaches. Just go out there and put on your best performance. And I think you said it a moment ago too that. And I think the fan base knows it, and I think obviously you guys have it instilled in the way that the coaches are teaching you that if you go out there and play to your best ability, and if you're on your game, and you can minimize the self-inflicted errors, then you're definitely one of, if not the best team in the nation. So I mean, it's up there. It's up for grabs for any team, especially Oklahoma. Do you ever set personal goals for a series or for a game? Do you ever set any specific personal goals?
Yeah, I would say I do. I mean, my goal every time I'm there is it's at bat by at bat, inning by inning defensively, just making the right play. I think at bat by at bat, I'm looking to get on base every single time, looking to either drive a ball or get on base somehow, some way. That would be my, I guess, personal goal. It's not like it's not like anything crazy stat-wise. It's just how can I get on base? How can I help the team here? Let's say there's a guy on third. I'm just like, all right, let's get him in. Let's do something to get him in. So I think our coaches have done a great job teaching us. Take it pitch by pitch. Take it inning by inning. Control what you can control, and then leave it in the past. Whether you hit a homer, whether you strike out, leave it. Get to the next one. So I would say that would be my goals, right, per game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I get it too because I think the highest level team sport I would have played in was probably football, and it's kind of similar. In any team sport, you're not really looking for any individual. I wasn't ever going out there chasing a specific number of touchdowns, or I just specific goals of diving even deeper, more or less goals within what I'm going to give an effort for. I think there's others, like I was a wrestler back in high school as well, and that one you can set personal goals. You can set because it is a personal game. It's a team game all derived on personal gain. So it was a little easier to do it there, but in team sports, it's I think you got the right mindset for it.
Right.
But Trey, that's all I got for you. I want to thank you for coming on. Is there another player on the team that you think fans should hear more about?
Oh man, to single out one is tough because it's different to know the baseball player, and the person, right? I mean, obviously they overlap a little bit. I just think this team has so many guys that would be great interviews because they're funny, because they're a good time, and they're all great athletes. I would say you could just handpick anybody you wanted, and if they're willing to do it, then great. But I don't have anybody specific. I'm going to be a little bit lame on that. I'm sorry, but
no, you're good. You're good. I just want to. I was going to try to go down the line and see who picks who, and for what reason. So you're playing the political game, and I can respect that. Just keep it respectable upon all your. You got to be careful and not choose your favorites or anything like that. So,
well, I'd be a good president, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. Trey Gambill for 2028. So we'll put you on the ballot. Trey, I want to thank you very much. I guess first, one thing that I forgot, I don't even think I put it in my notes. What's your walk-up song?
It's Green Onions by, I don't even know who it's by. It's from Sandlot.
What? I bet I have it. What is it?
It's from the Sandlot movie.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite ones. It's when like the dudes roll up in their bikes and they challenge the Sandlot to play. So.
And I assume that was probably your reasoning.
Yes, it's from the movie. I love that movie, childhood favorite. So I was like, you know what? I think this would be a good walk-up.
That was one of the personal questions that I wanted to get out of you guys as I get you on for interviews. But Trey, I want to thank you so much for joining the team. Anything you want to give a shout out to before I let you go?
No, I just love the Sooner Nation. You guys are great. We had a great showing up last weekend. It's awesome to play in front of you guys, and you guys really make it fun as a player, and you're the reason we play. We play for the fans. We play for all the people that have come before us. So we just want to thank you guys all for coming out and watching us play.
Well, I'm glad you said that too, because I think me upon other media guys, we're trying to get more fans to show up, show out, be proud, be loud, because that's what you guys drive on. So I think they need to hear that from you guys more often. But thank you so much for coming on, Trey.
Of course, thank you. We'll see you.
Hey Sooner fans, did you enjoy this video? Well, go ahead and hit that like button and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. What are you doing if you've made it this far and haven't already? You should be able to find that subscribe button over here. And then if you want to see full episodes, we've got those up here and clips right down here. So go check that out. But we thank you all so much for all the love, all the support. We'll catch you next time. Boomer.